Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the DomJake podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Check out our other episodes. I'm your host, Dominic.
And I'm your other host, Jake.
This is going to be one of my secret episodes here.
Secret? I don't know what it's gonna be.
Well, I'm sure for the audience listening will already know this, but of course, you're not going to know this. Before I reveal what it's going to be about, I'm going to ask you one simple question, which that question is,
All of the
how,
above.
how good are you at baking breads and other goods?
Fairly decent. I would say, I'd say scale of 1 to 10, probably like an 8.5 or something. Like, I'm not, I'm not like bakery level, but I could hold my own ground.
All right. Well, let's just have this hypothetical situation here. Let's say there's this really high-end bakery, and it's not going to be one. It's not going to be a one for distributing to places, but maybe not. It's like a Hell's Kitchen level bakery where everything is made from scratch, no outsourcing at all, and nothing like that. This is going to be a full-on bakery, like homemade cakes, cookies, muffins, you name it. And let's pretend I'm going to be the guy that's the boss of this bakery, and let's say, and I just found out that you were on Indeed and you applied to this bakery that I own, and now I called you up and say, hey, come to this interview at 2:00.
Right.
And you show up in your chef's jacket, and I mean, I didn't write these out, but I have some questions if you were to work with me at this new high-end bakery.
Yes, chef.
Okay. Well, so so it says in your resume that you've been just an 8 out of 10 decent level baker, like a home baker.
Yes, chef.
Yes. As it said on our website, we're a high-end bakery. We want top-tier quality chefs or, bakers. We need quality cakes and muffins, and those chocolate chips for the cookies cannot be factory made, and even those we have to bake in house. What qualifies you to be part of our company?
Well, well, I do have a extensive knowledge on horticulture, which basically means that, you know, not I don't need to be telling you all this because I'm sure as the head of a impressive establishment like you are, you don't need to know what horticulture is because you already know what that means. Um, so yeah, which pretty much means that I am able to understand the climates and understand exactly what something can need. I understand that a ground could be a little bit on the basic side, so you can neutralize it by putting a little bit of acid into it. Not a lot to, ruin the ecosystem, but enough to even out the playing field, make things less arid, make things less moist, and more in the middle. More to a point of breeding, let's just say, breeding freshness into your establishment.
All right, all right. Well, good answer. Well, so, with this said bakery, everything's got to be very precise. There's no timers involved. I mean, other than, you bake. Tell me what you know about making chocolate chip cookies.
All right, okay. So, number one is chocolate chip cookies are a little bit on the underestimated side. It's not something where just everybody can do it, but it's also not something where, only professionals need to do it. Anybody can get into the art of making chocolate chip cookies, but in order to be premium quality, Everybody just has to work as a team, as a unit, to be able to get a quality product at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah,
it's
because
it's a it's a decent starting point for a lot of bakers to get into. I mean, we've already had 8 years of just our egg classes, which I passed with flying colors there.
all
Um,
right.
so I know how to do every single type of egg, which I'm sure you know how to do every single type of egg, and I'm sure you eat it all the time, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I've eaten them in well, what we're talking about.
fair, fair. Um, so I like that underdog, underappreciated sort of chocolate chip cookie that it even has, right? It's it's not something to be messed with, but it's also
No.
something that could serve as a great baseline.
Yeah, because the cookies, I mean, they can either be great or they can crumble in quality. I mean, we're not talking about the Pillsbury Doughboy, because me and him in college, we've had competitions. Well, so
And
we want somebody.
I'm sure
We
you
want.
won those competitions.
Oh yeah, because we use the most premium ingredients and we don't use all the preservatives and whatever he puts in there. And the chocolate chips, we source it from the best like cacao beans out there. And Crumble, looks like me and that company. We're gonna have a bit of a competition maybe later on. So we're probably looking for somebody who can maybe make the best chocolate chip cookies out there. But man, and that's not what we're also about. Um, you know how to make a cake, right?
Yes, chef.
Yeah, so tell me how you've done this in the past, if you have at all.
Well, you underestimated me there too. I've definitely done some cakes before. In fact, I actually did one last week, and I am not making this up. I actually did a nice strawberry cake for my brother. I do have two photos of it, right? I could honestly send it to you, or I guess not you, since you are the owner of an establishment. I could send it to the editor, actually, for I guess breaking character a little more. I could genuinely send you like pictures of them if you do want.
Hmm, I'm interested to see what they look like.
I guess going back into character, um, yeah, I have this little portfolio right here where I do have examples of different cakes that I've done throughout the years. Of course, not every single one of them is, let's say, the best decorated, but it could be argued that in order to have a more successful time, you don't need to always worry about the decorations. Now, that sounds blasphemous, talking to someone of your high standards, but
Mhm.
the taste is obviously fundamental when it comes to
Of course.
any baked goods. Now, usually, I don't really use a recipe. If I do, it's because it's a new type of thing, and once I get a grasp of said thing, then I kind of have the baseline to go do something else with, change it up this way. I know not to change it up that way because that way is too bad. Um,
Hmm.
so fundamentally, I do feel I am comfortable with cakes of pretty much all varieties.
Yeah. And do you think there's a perfect cake or it's always a matter of preference?
So you've put me into a little gray area here, right? I
Hmm.
don't exactly have an exact answer because
Yeah.
all of them do have their own qualities. It is up to interpretation. I'm not going to sit here and saying that this obviously tastes bad just because I don't like it. I'm not going to take away someone else's enjoyment of something. But at the same time, I can say that I am more of a fan of things like, let's say, like a like a nice chocolate chip cake. There is some, I should say, a nice chocolate cake with chocolate chips in it. There is some nostalgia baked into that. Pun definitely. And yeah,
And hey, you know what? There's no right or wrong answers here because, you know, some food items do have it sticks to them just like like the pans that we use.
now since I do enjoy quite a bit of varieties, actually, I love encouraging people to get out of their comfort zone even a little bit and be like, let's just say there is somebody who only has chocolate cake, nothing else. What if they'd be fine with a two-layered chocolate cake with banana cream in the middle?
Hmm.
Maybe that will be something else, a little gateway into trying something new. And then after all is said and done, they now have a full list of these things that they don't like, but then these things that they do. And it's way more than just chocolate cake on their liked side. I do
Yeah.
like giving people the opportunity to test different flavors.
Yeah, expand the horizon, right?
Expand your palate.
Yes, we are always open for different like ideas. So I might tell one of my chefs about making that because we do have a catering order for Bill Billy Thompson's birthday.
Billy Thompson, do you know if the phone number that's attached to that is 123 123 1234?
Oh, do you know him?
I know his father.
Oh my God! So well,
And
his
guess
son.
what? I could probably make it so that you could pay triple the amount. Just putting that on the table. You know what? It's in the corner of the table. We
Yeah,
don't need this to be any weight upon my acceptance in this
but
company.
but
But
we
at the
are
same time, I am acknowledging that it is right there. I can make you more money just because I know the people
okay.
involved.
Well, so far we're trusting you, but we still have some other questions too. Because yes, we are looking for like a cake to be made for Billy Thompson's birthday. He did say he likes chocolate with a little strawberries on top, and he wants it in Madagascar vanilla frosting that says "Happy 60th birthday, Billy." So do you think you might be able? You think you might be able to make that possible if we hire you at this establishment?
I would be fairly certain I could get a respectable product out there.
All
Of
right.
course, this is once again, uh, I'm not as great as someone of your level, good sir, good chef, but I'm confident in my abilities that I can make Mr. Billy Thompson a nice thing.
All right. All right. With a lot of baked goods, they start with flour. So, I mean, we're not a pizzeria, so we're not do that kind of baking. But do you know the difference between all-purpose and double zero flour?
Well, there's a little bit of a trick question here. Um, there's not only all-purpose, there's not only double zero, there's also, let's see, bread flour,
Wheat
there's
flour,
also
whole
wheat
wheat.
flour, right? There's also rice flour, which is well known in the Eastern Hemisphere, over
Hmm.
in, you know.
Yes, the eastern areas.
So essentially, the reason that makes all purpose is the fact that it has a little bit of additives. I believe a little bit of baking powder, maybe it's baking soda. I am a little bit hazy on the minute details, but all purpose serves its purpose because it has the additional things. Technically, there would be nothing really different, at
Hmm.
least nothing substantially different from using all purpose from, let's say, something else if you are going to include the extra additional baking powder or soda. I guess in this answer, the final answer is all purpose has the additional leavening agents that are added to the mix in order to make it all purpose.
Right. Do you
because
know
all of
the
them
yeah?
have the semolina, all of them have the germ in them, all of them have the endosperm. All of it comes from relatively the same sort of thing, except for rice flour, because rice is a different plant than wheat. But yeah, that's the long story short, I guess.
All right, all right. You know the technical term for baking soda?
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
leavening agent.
no, I mean it's called the chem. You know the chemical name for it? No, oh, well, okay. I'll tell you what it's called: sodium bicarbonate.
Sodium bicarbonate. Na.
I mean that's what.
C2.
See, when you when you read the ingredients on most food products, they don't call it baking soda; they call it sodium bicarbonate. So that's something you might want to look out for. And okay, so looks like we'll put you. If we do hire you, we're gonna, of course, we'll still put you in training to, of course, increase your level of baking. So it seems like you've had some experience so far. All right, all right. We all know who the Muffin Man is, but let's see if you're a Muffin Man and tell us if you've ever made any muffins for people or for your family.
I have made, admittedly, not as much when it comes to cookies and cakes, just because personally they don't always do it for me, but
Mm-hmm.
they act the same sort of way as a cake would. You pretty much do almost the exact same sort of thing, except you are actively trying to make it a little bit, I guess, more more dense in terms of sustenance. Um,
All right.
so a difference between a cupcake and a cake, well, no, a cupcake and a muffin is just pretty much um, a difference is just how long you're stirring it as a batter, because I think the more agitated it becomes, the more dense it will be. So technically, you could make a chocolate chip cake turn into chocolate chip muffin batter just by including a little bit more time.
All right.
I believe
All
that's
right.
the case.
I see. What if while you were making those cupcakes or muffins, how could you turn that into cookies from there?
From
So,
good question there. Um, turn a cake batter into a cookie batter. The only real logical thing to do would be to kind of start over. And someone who doesn't like to waste a lot of resources, but it's not really easy to go from a cake batter to a batter because it's already the leavening agents. You're not really gonna be able to take that back. So best that would be able to happen is like maybe a biscuit sort of thing, maybe, because that you're also trying to uh, rise that too. But with a cookie,
mhm.
you're not really trying to make it super rise. I know there is such thing as soft and hard cookies. I'm not exactly saying that, but like first I'll have to kind of restart a little bit in my opinion. So my final answer for this question is to restart. There is no turning that batter into a cookie batter.
Fair, fair, fair. All right. So, okay, so this so far looks like you might make it to our company. So far you're kind of a good little home baker. So, if you can give any advice to any, well, novice bakers, what advice would you give to them?
And this probably depend on what they've already done. Let's say straight up a beginner who has maybe only eaten some of these things, right? They've never made any of it. If they are a beginner, I would say start with, honestly, 3-ingredient easy peanut butter cookie, just so then you get the idea behind it.
Hmm.
Because that's an easy thing. You just throw all of them into the thing. You could even get the batter done before the thing even preheats, right?
Yeah, so from what I heard not long ago, there's this editor of a podcast that has made a recipe like that, and oh my goodness, I can't tell if it was made with all-purpose flour or it was just peanut butter. Like, wow, this looks like a store-bought cookie from the local grocery store.
Right on. I mean, a fact of the matter is peanut butter has a lot of these different oils, and that's what I
Yeah,
was confused. Peanut butter has a lot of things in them. Right?
as long as you get the probably the ones without the oil leaching out, then unless you're a health nut, no pun intended, and you want
Great one.
the natural peanut butter, then I guess mixing the peanut butter shouldn't be an issue. But if that's not your thing, get the like the big brands of the peanut butter.
Like in all honesty, that is probably the first thing that I would say to like a straight up beginner, because that's a weird recipe to botch. At the same time, you can botch it. There's can't botch, I guess, unless if it's a glass of water, right? But
So, okay, so we've this since we might hire you. Why is it important to make a line in the peanut butter cookies?
why it's important to make a line as in smushing things down?
Yeah, with let's say a fork, you smush it down to make that signature
The forks,
little line.
right?
Yeah.
So one, I did say before that technically decoration doesn't matter, but one, it does make it look cooler. It it does serve a purpose other than decoration, but yeah, it does look cooler whenever there's like a thing on the top, right? Um, if it didn't have the little stamp, right? Um,
It would just
it would taste the
just be.
same, but it doesn't look cool.
I mean, it's just gonna look like maybe a knockoff sandwich cookie.
Knockoff sandwich cookie. There we go. And I guess there's technically nothing wrong with that, but
But
it looks cooler whenever it does have a stamp on top of it. Going back to the other more practical reason why you would smush it down is because of the fact that I believe that if you did that, it wouldn't get the cooking time that it actually needed. The reason why I smush it down to make it thinner is because of the fact that I believe that it actually does make it actual cookie. I don't think it would be a standalone. I think it would just end up being a hot mess of, three if you didn't
yeah.
smush it down. I think
Hmm.
it actually does serve to its structural integrity.
Yeah.
So I guess
It's,
decoration and speculative action.
yeah. Because I was a little tyke chef. I thought, okay, this line serves as a like ventilation for your cookie, but nope, was I wrong?
What with in all of your years of knowledge and all of your years of kitchen duties is the fact that with some holiday shortbread cookies, you do have little holes in them if they are the stencil variety, right? Um, improve the chances they will actually get cooked. That's
Yeah.
pretty honestly to kind of retroactively say with that peanut butter one. I think it makes it'll can actually be cooked. Like there's no real, at least when it comes to there's no real disappointment other than oh, the full isn't cooked. This harkens to cakes, this harkens back to everything else, but a squishy side is just not great because underdone. It's not a unit.
Yeah, because you can. It's a squishy inside might be good, but if it was on, I can understand why if it was too undercooked in. This tastes like dough.
Squishy insides can be done well, and that is not a sentence I thought I was going to be saying today, but here we are.
Yeah.
They can be good because if you've ever had a lava cake, that's practically what it is. The inside is literally the same as the outside batter. It's just the fact that it's health. Well, okay, it's still chocolate lava cake, but it's healthier to eat it raw than it would be.
Mhm.
You have to get through it. No, with chocolate lava cake, it is the same thing. I'm sure some places cut open a chocolate cake to put their own filling in it, but most of the time it's the same stuff, just a different consistency. So it is important to note that yes, a squishy inside can be beneficial, but most of the
Hmm.
time, no.
Yep, we are. We do customers. Um, sales also come from like the holiday seasons, as we do make tons of fruit cakes and gingerbread house cookies. You know, we for our gingerbread cookies we use wooden molds for the houses, and we don't use these like stamps or whatever they use. So, would you be prepared to use our equipment to make gingerbread cookies if
Bread cookies, I will admit that I haven't ever made from scratch a gingerbread house. I have gotten, pre-made kits, but you don't want any of that garbage. You don't want that. You want
so
people to make it by hand,
well
laboriously carving things out. Um,
so as long as you know how to make gingerbread cookies, we do offer training courses. So
I would take you up on that training because as it stands right now, I have not made a gingerbread, even
mm,
batter, right? I haven't made men, women, or non-binary pals. I have not made dogs of gingerbread. I haven't made houses. But I have, like I said, I have the pre-made stuff, or all you do
okay,
is build it up. I will need that lesson. I
okay.
straight up would.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely do some training, but so okay, so yep, we'll teach you the recipe for that. And okay,
Luckily, we
this
have 11 months until we really need to, right?
so that will be your homework for 11 months. Um, yep, fruitcakes, that's another popular item. So, have you know they use gummies, right, instead of like fruit for the fruit cakes. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just too of a chef that I can't tell the difference anymore. Um,
Kind of the opposite.
okay. I'm just because we use real, genuine fruit that's fresh from my garden. We don't use, we do not use, but however we use for our gingerbread house cookies. But what would your version of a fruitcake be if you were to make one right now?
If I was to make one, it would pretty much be a vanilla base that I would put, I would cells, right? That's a decent one. I wouldn't put kiwi or watermelon or really any of the citruses in with that, but I would probably do like all right, here's a triple three. Um of a more sweeter variety, not the tart ones. They do have their place, but it's not in this. I'm going for a sweet one, so it would be like an apples, strawberries, and I'm going to say I'm between raspberries and blueberries, but I think raspberries takes the cake quite literally. So those are my three fruits that are right there. So it's basically going to be a vanilla base with those scattered around, plus, and you wouldn't, but I would also include a whole bag of mini marshmallows in the mix as well. I would have to put it in a round bundt sort of cake, sort of pan, right? Around a bundt pan, as to keep the holiday, I guess, vibes up, right? Um, Overall, I would probably just get some confectioner sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract, and I would say I would color that because I'm anticipating using a lot of the fruits, and the cake itself will probably be a warm, rustic, like color, like a lightish brown. So I'm thinking that the green, food colored frosting would make that pop. And afterwards, take leftover confection of sugar and give a little dusting on top so that it looks like a little bit of snowfall. I genuinely, I am breaking character for this surprise interview that you've surprised me with. That genuinely sounds great, and I think I need to revisit this episode to actually write that down.
All
'Cause
right.
I think I fell in love with it.
Awesome. Perfect.
Genuinely, I want to do that.
Oh, but yeah. All right. Good for you. hmm Well, as of well, this was a perfect time for making Valentine cookies. And you make them yourself? Would you cookies or just like a chocolate, like heart-shaped cookie?
So the way that it would go about it isn't going to be making cookies at all.
Or
It
even
wouldn't
better,
even be
how about
go.
cake?
Jenny wouldn't do cakes ones either. I would do another thing.
What would you, if you, right now, if you wanted to make a Valentine baked good for your like family or anybody for that matter?
My thing would have to 100% be tempering my own chocolate and using a mold to make some shapes. Um, a lot of effort goes into chocolate, especially if it's coming from the bean directly,
Yep.
as it seems you're insinuating.
Yep,
Um,
we source the best quality cacao beans here in our facility, so
which that right there, tempering your own chocolate, the effective amount of sugar, that right there, it's a standard for Valentine's. You think about all of the, heart-shaped boxes with rows and rows and rows of chocolates in them, right?
oh yeah, they've got
You,
all
you think of
different
that all the
types.
time. That standard straight up just chocolate with maybe different things in it, like a little cherry thing or a nice salted caramel, or some of them might be empty on the inside, but just to have a little variety into it. But I genuinely think I would go for the chocolates path. Of course, you have to also pick a nice rose from the garden, nip it, and deliver your tempered chocolates with the rose in your mouth, right?
Yes.
Ole. Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because all our like Valentine baked goods, they do it comes includes a free rose. That's actually real.
That's fantastic.
And we pick out the rose, we make the chocolates or the cookies, whatever you choose to order from our catalog, and you must, yep, within a few days. So you better give that rose out quick.
That's fair.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like here, seems like you're a good, like, good home baker. I mean, I don't know what Gordon Ramsay. Well, honestly, I don't really know him too well personally, but I mean, hey, he may sir, you're okay in his book as a home baker. But yes, I think it's safe to say you were hired at our bakery, and well, the schedule in the mails, but we will send you also recipes for any customers that order from our catalog. And we'll also do occasional phone calls in case something else comes up. And, well, there'll be more coming your way.
That's fair.
Well, then you will have to also do in all your other stuff for this company too, as any job goes. And we'll be doing that on orientation.
All right, that's a plan.
All right. Well, nice talking to you, chef.
Hey, I'm very honored to pay.
It depends on how well the baked good comes out, but a good starting point is probably $210 a week. But then some of the that you would maybe see at a grocery store, but then also depends on it. Like if you make, let's say you make a batch of cookies for like a party, and might get paid maybe $210, but you make a double-decker chocolate cake with, if you had to make characters out of frosting, we'll probably pay you about $600.
That's fair. That's totally fair. When you said 210, I thought for a second you were gonna say 210 an hour. I'm like, so.
Don't put your eggs in one basket. But yes, $210 a week. My good chef.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, all right. So okay, my list here is, well, complete. Well,
Is there any that I need to worry about?
the only thing we'll ask you to do is, like, send us a letter or send us like an email what like the size for like shirts are, because we will be sending out the company's logo on it.
Uh, have I do already have one of the chef's shirts right there. It's actually looking at me right now. If it saves the company more money, you could always just send. I could always just have you pack the what do you call it, the logo onto that, right? It's already my size.
We can embroider it on if you want.
Embroider it, save the money, save the trees, right?
Yeah, and this is for and for those who don't have a jacket, we also provide them too.
Honestly, yeah, just to be prepared, I probably would take you up on the second one, just because one gets super dirty, you still need to have the clean one for customer relations, right?
And and of course we'll look at the jacket size, and we could always make a duplicate for you.
Now you did say,
of course, we're always looking for new. Have any friends, family who also want to talk, like, work for us? Send them. Yeah. And to all the viewers out here, thank you for listening, and I hope I inspired you guys to get in the kitchen, get your whisks, your spatulas, whatever you have, your easy bake ovens, I don't care. And, subscribe button inside the oven, don't forget it, as it will be required. Little bell in the bakery, and it also might have a little word that says notification on it. And you ring that bell. If you're a computer type of guy, so that way you never miss a video. You have in baking, whether you did it in school or you worked at a restaurant, anywhere. Well, I figured this was a surprise episode. That would be pretty.
It was a surprise, and let's get a freaking interview.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, putting me on the spot with this.
Yep. Well, sometimes we gotta put each other on the spot sometimes.
Yeah, I guess that's fair because technically I just said, hey, you talk all the time for my surprise, so you know what, that's fair.
Well, this is a good little redemption here, huh? For myself. But yeah. Well, I guess you could say, yep, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.